Eleanor Roosevelt. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. I believe anyone can conquer fear by doing the things he fears to do, provided he keeps doing them until he gets a record of successful experience behind him. Since you get more joy out of giving joy to others, you should put a good deal of thought into the happiness you are able to give. Do not stop thinking of life as an adventure. You have no security unless you can live bravely, excitingly, imaginatively, unless you can choose a challenge instead of competence. To be mature, you have to realize what you value most, not to arrive at a clear understanding of one's own values is a tragic waste. You have missed the whole point of what life is for. Do the things that interest you and do them with all your heart. Don't be concerned about whether people are watching you or criticizing you. The chances are that they aren't paying attention to you. Since everybody is an individual, nobody can be you. You are unique. No one can tell you how to use your time. It is yours. Your life is your own. You mold it. You make it. It is a brave thing to have courage, to be an individual. It is also, perhaps, a lonely thing, but it is better than not being an individual, which is to be nobody at all. Success must include two things: the development of an individual to his utmost potentiality and a contribution of some kind to one's world. We all create the person we become by our choices as we go through life. In a real sense, by the time we are adults, we are the sum total of the choices we have made. Your ambition should be to get as much life out of living as you possibly can, as much enjoyment, as much interest, as much experience, as much understanding, not simply be what is generally called a success. When you have decided what you believe, what you feel must be done, have the courage to stand alone and be counted. Life is like a parachute jump. You've got to get it right the first time. Every time you meet a situation, you think at the time it is an impossibility, and you go through the tortures of the damned. Once you have met it and lived through it, you find that forever after, you are freer than you were before. Enjoy every minute you have with those you love, my dear, for no one can take joy that is passed away from you. It will be there in your heart to live on when the dark days come. One's philosophy is not best expressed in words. It is expressed in the choices one makes, and the choices we make are ultimately our responsibility. Freedom makes a huge requirement of every human being. With freedom comes responsibility for the person who is unwilling to grow up, the person who does not want to carry his own weight. This is a frightening prospect. One thing life has taught me: if you are interested, you never have to look for new interests. They come to you. When you are genuinely interested in one thing, it will always lead to something else. Remember always that you have not only the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. You cannot make any useful contribution in life unless you do this. One thing life has taught me: if you are interested, you never have to look for new interests, they come to you. When you are genuinely interested in one thing, it will always lead to something else. Remember always that you have not only the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one. You cannot make any useful contribution in life unless you do this. We do not have to become heroes. Government just a step at a time. Meeting each thing that comes up, seeing it as not as dreadful as it appears, discovering that we have the strength to stare it down. I am convinced that every effort must be made in childhood to teach the young to use their own minds. For one thing is sure: if they don't make up their minds, someone will do it for them. Never be bored, and you will never be boring. In all our contacts, it is probably the sense of being really needed and wanted which gives us the greatest satisfaction and creates the most lasting bond. You can never really live anyone else's life, not even your child. The influence you exert is through your own life and what you've become yourself. Nothing has ever been achieved by the person who says it can't be done. Life is like a parachute jump. You've got to get it right the first time. Courage is exhilarating. All of life is a constant education. I never waste time looking back. Thanks you.